Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint an adorable little quail. We're going to do it start to finish tonight during our live stream. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat tonight, so if you can ask questions while I'm painting, and we'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty, here we are. Welcome, guys. So glad to have you with us. We are going to be painting on a 12 by 12 inch canvas. This is a Fredrix blue label. Haven't done anything except for I did paint it with a very light coat of buff titanium, this fluid acrylic. So it is really overblown. Let me turn that off for now, or maybe turn this one off. Like too many lights right directly on there. There we go. Maybe better. I couldn't even read the label. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Titan buff. Buff titanium. Yeah, Titan buff. And water and some glazing medium, which I have not put out there, the satin glazing liquid from Golden. So that's when you add a lot of water to your paint, even though that paint was thinned out, I wanted it very thin, so I only added a little bit to do this whole canvas. So I sprayed the canvas with water, added a little bit of paint, and added about an equal part of the gloss glazing liquid, or satin glazing liquid in this case, and then painted it all on really quickly. So that's what we've got. I think I'm going to leave the background kind of this color and try to do like a little vignette around our bird. I've already drawn it on, but maybe put some little grasses and things here in and around it. And I changed the pose so that it was looking back over so that we could see the face a little bit more and give it a little bit more character to the pose. All right, let's go over our colors. I've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, quinacridone burnt orange, yellow oxide, India yellow, green gold, phthalo green blue shade, phthalo blue green shade, I don't know what I just said, and ultramarine blue, quinacridone magenta, unbleached titanium, and this is that buff Titan buff. Gosh, can't say that tonight. Unbleached titanium, Titan buff, and titanium white. My gosh, try saying those three fast. Satin glazing liquid. Okay.
I think you need a stunt double to do that.
I'm already stumbling over my words. It's going to be an interesting night. All right, here we go. That always happens when I try to draw it before the show, because I get like in that right brain mode, and then my brain just checks out. I can't speak my words. All right. So fingers crossed we'll get through this. I think I'm going to kind of lightly sketch this out with my brush just to kind of give us the outline of the bird. And then I'm going to paint our background around it. So that'll just kind of give me, in case I go over it a little bit, I won't lose my drawing. So let's use kind of just a little bit darker shade than this. So maybe some burnt sienna with some of that background color. And I went ahead and put some out in case we needed it. So we'll just use that. I used a green chalk to draw it, just my regular green chalk. It's all the stuff that I'm using is in my Amazon shop. So, and I'm going to start out with a 4 round from Princeton. This is the VelvetTouch in the long handles. And I do kind of prefer a long handle, I have to say, because you can kind of hold it far. You can see how far back I am. My thumb is way back here. So if I was using the shorter handle, I'd be kind of having to inch up on it. So I kind of like it because I can kind of hold it a little bit looser. That's just my own personal preference. So it doesn't have to be the long handle. The short handle will work just fine. All right, so I'm going to start it by the head here. And I think I want to do like this. So we've got this little crown coming up over. And then it comes straight down this way. Something like that. And I'm gonna fuzz out that edge because I don't want it to be like a hard line that I have to paint around later. And the beak is gonna be somewhere right in here. Maybe a little bit right in there, kind of poking down. And then it's gonna angle back and up. So it does this little grin. I think that's why they look so cute, because they look like they're smirking. They got a little cheeky grin. And the eye is basically right in between this and this. So if you just straight line down and a straight line this way, you'd kind of, you know, if you had a big old circle right here, the eye is really kind of smack dab in the middle, but it's lined up, sort of angled with that beak a little bit. All right, then the back is coming right up underneath the beak pretty close, like right in here, and coming straight down this way. And then rounding out a little bit like that. Coming down. There'll be a few little feathers for the wing that's going to be sort of in here and coming across. There's that wing. Then it keeps coming down, so just keeps coming down right here. In. Might come in just a little bit more than that. I'll leave the wing out just a little bit from the back right there. And then right about there is where there's kind of that curve where the tail attaches, comes up, and then there's another curve right here where the belly is. Maybe comes up a little bit in a little bit more, like right there. The legs are. That's going to be kind of directly sort of under the, or right around the back right here. If you did a line straight down from the beak, those feet are going to be kind of right up underneath. I might move this one over just a little bit. Just like that, somewhere in there. It's a little bit thicker where they attach to the body. Come straight down like that. I will put feet on it later, but remind me. You never know. All right, then the breast here, and there's a like a detail right there that kind of comes across at an angle. Sort of here, here, and here. So kind of keep those lined up. And then this comes down. There's the center of the chest. There's kind of that line sort of does like that down from the eye, curves down to between the legs there. Okay, so it's good to have those kind of markers just so when we do our feathers later, we'll kind of know what direction they should go. Because the ones coming here are, you know, going to be going around this way, and then these ones are going to be coming around more straight. So there, this is all filled in pretty dark. And then I'm going to bring that out a little bit more right there. All right, so there's our basic. Well, I might have made the head a little bit big. What do you think? I don't know. The head might be a little bit big, but no? Okay. Okay.
I just think that the head is in a different position than, you know, obviously than the reference photo. It's it's more looking up alert instead of like down and pointing down.
Yeah.
I don't know what the body language means, but
what?
I don't know what the body language means though.
There's our little feather on the head. Super cute. All right, so let's do the tail. So follow this angle down. We kind of already started it. And like that. Tail's pretty short. Some birds, the tail is as long as from the neck to the rump, but that's not the case with these guys. They have a pretty small tail. They're shorter. All right. So that looks good. And then we'll have our stick that he's sitting on or standing on coming up across like this. And it kind of covers up the bottom of that tail there, and then kind of continues down this way. So we'll do that, and then I think I'm going to do some tall grasses in here like this to kind of give it a more focus around the face and move, have some vertical motion coming up around him. Okay. So got that done. Let's go ahead and grab a Filbert, and I'm gonna just go ahead and do that background, and again keep it kind of loose. So I'm gonna get some glazing medium and almost do like a watercolor type of effect on the background. So I'm gonna get that background color, which is my Titan Buff. That's why I put it out here. It's basically unbleached titanium, but they don't have unbleached titanium in the fluid for some reason with gold, or maybe no, they don't. Yeah, they don't have. Well, because I'm using this unbleached titanium from Liquitex, so that's why. Anyhow, but I don't think they have it in the. Yeah, their version of it is Titan Buff. That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's close. They're very similar. All right, so I'm going to put in quite a lot of the glazing medium, and I think I'm going to use my green gold. Now, if you don't have green gold or the burnt orange, those are the two colors that might not be on your palette already. The Quinacridone burnt orange is discontinued, but they do have a new color called Benzimidazolone. I don't know why they do these long words. I just figured out how to say quinacridone, and now they've changed it. So Benzimidazolone burnt orange is the new quinacridone orange. They discontinued the color, the pigment color, but I have some that I've been hoarding from before they discontinued it. PR 206 went bye-bye. Oh. I know. Whatever that pigment name is. So anyhow, what am I doing? So I'm getting the green gold. Oh, so I was going to tell you, green gold, if you don't have it, if you have like phthalo green, it's green gold is mixed with phthalo green and a couple of yellows. So like phthalo green and a tiniest touch of phthalo. It's mostly yellow. It almost substitutes for yellow on my palette a lot of times. It mixes very similar to a yellow because there's just so much yellow in it. So just a tiny touch of phthalo green and like a bright warm yellow like the India yellow will do and give you a nice color. So we're going to do that, those two together, the green gold and the by Titan Buff. I can't say that word. Titan Buff. I'm so used to saying unbleached titanium. And then I grabbed up some of this burnt sienna too. So I'm going to add that just to kind of knock it down a touch, make it a little bit more yellow. That might be too yellow. So I think I do want it a little bit more green. So let's go ahead and add just a little bit of the phthalo blue. I mean, the tiniest touch, that's going to be too much. So I'm just kind of offloading it. We'll see, and I need more of that buff, or I need more of that ultramarine blue now that, or I'm sorry, I need more of that burnt sienna. I cannot use my words today. It's going to be a night. Yeah, there we go. So I want it like a sagey green. That's pretty close to that background color. So I'm adding water and I'm adding glaze. And I'm going to go ahead and mix up these two, the burnt sienna and the phthalo blue, make a really beautiful, turquoise. But I've got a lot of this green gold in here, so it's not going to do turquoise. Oops, that's the bird. Don't want to do that. I'm just going to kind of go around it really loosely and just do this like kind of quickly. Don't get too caught up in making this perfect. Just paint it loose like that and be expressive, you know, just kind of think grass thoughts.
Be the grass.
Be the grass. It reminds me of what was that cartoon that we watched that was like doing interpretive dances with the colors, you know, and they were like, that's yellow. No, it's green. Whatever. Do you remember that? I was like, oh gosh, it was a while ago. It was like,
Okay.
I don't know.
Not
Anyhow.
bring back any memories right now. But.
Oh, it's not? Okay. It's funny. Okay, so there we go. I think that's all I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to go to the corners with this. You can if you want to. It would just be more of this all the way to the corners. But I just kind of want to, I think, do a little, like I said, like a little, change it up, you know? Why not? Just kind of had the vision for it, so I just decided to go with it. All right, so mixing up more like a darker version of this and then adding a little bit of green gold to make it more green. Phthalo blue, burnt sienna, and green gold. If you don't have the green gold, so phthalo blue, phthalo green, burnt sienna, and like some sort of yellow. Like a gold, warm yellow, like the India yellow. And let's just go ahead and add some little, using the corner of this brush. This is the Filbert. I didn't mention that, the 6 Filbert. And yeah, I didn't go over the brushes, did I? Just jump right in. Oh well.
That's okay.
So that's, yeah. See, I like it. Kind of feels, but it's loose because of that glaze. It's kind of got a little translucent quality. You can tell I've been playing with watercolors because I was like, I think this is why I kind of got the feel for this. I was like, you know, I want to try to, you can do watercolor type effects with acrylics. So I was like, I just kind of wanted to show that. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we might go a little bit darker, but I don't know that we need to because I really like that sage green behind that bird in the picture, and I think it works really well. So I think we'll just kind of leave it at that. Do it all while it's wet so it kind of merges and gets, you know, a little bit juicy. You can see all those like brush strokes and things, and I've just kind of used my brush on its edge so that I'm getting these kind of vertical lines and things with it. I might cover, I don't know what I got up there. Got something, some debris from my paper towel, I think, or something got up there. Okay, there we go. Get that off. Just try to kind of fix that a little bit. And then just pop in some little ones on their own. So we'll put the taller grasses in once this is all dry. We don't want to try to do too much with it yet. We gotta let it kind of dry, let this all settle and do its thing. Okay. So while that's drying, let's go ahead and work on our bird. And let's go ahead and put in our kind of dark areas so we can put in our detail later. So the color, the reason I put the Quinacridone burnt orange in is because there's a color you can get with Quinacridone burnt orange and Ultramarine Blue that's like almost a lavender, and it's kind of got that blue-gray quality, and I'm going to go ahead and add the Phthalo blue to it as well. I have too much blue in here for now, but I'll add a little bit more of that burnt orange. And then let's add some white to this and see what we have, because right now it's so dark we can't really tell what our undertone is, but I'm hoping that it'll be somewhat gray. It's not gray enough, we can always add burnt umber, but ooh, what a pretty gray. There we go. That's almost too gray. Really is too gray. So we need more blue. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more phthalo blue. I think I want that kind of smoky phthalo blue color. All right, we're pretty close to what we want to do right there, I think. At least for a starter, we can use this to start. And then pretty transparent because all those colors were pretty translucent. You can see where like it's streaking there, and it's a little bit purple, so I think I might go a little bit more teal with it. I think I'll go phthalo blue and burnt sienna, add some more of that, which is in our grass, so it'll be a nice blue to use in our bird too. So let's add these two together. Which we already had the phthalo blue and this blue. We're just adding a little bit more of the phthalo blue and a little bit of the burnt sienna. The burnt sienna is less red than the quinacridone color. Less pink, really. Quinacridone's pretty pink. Ooh, that's really blue though. It's almost too much. Let's add a little bit of the burnt umber to tone it down. Just trying to kind of capture that color. Okay, that's a little bit better, I think. So burnt umber, burnt sienna, maybe a little bit less of the quinacridone burnt orange. And if you don't have quinacridone burnt orange, you can mix it with burnt sienna and quinacridone magenta. So you don't have to have the Benzimidazolone. You don't have to go out and buy it, especially if you're not going to use it that often.
We're just calling it Benny.
Benny.
Benzie.
Benzie. Benzie. All right, I'm going to grab some of this. Maybe even get a little bit of that green gold mixture. Added a little bit more of the buff titanium here. I think I want the thicker paint. And yeah, okay, I think that's it. So it's just, you know, working out the color. You just have to kind of work it out. And honestly, it's one of those things when I'm mixing colors that often I'll just kind of put it down and then you can always go back over it. So that's the nice thing about acrylics. And the more you layer, the better, I feel like a lot of times. So I'm kind of just tapping over that. That blue paint's pretty wet, and I don't want to cover all the dark, but I'm just very lightly kind of tapping over with this lighter blue here, and it's working out pretty good. All right, so let's get some white, and I'm going to make a much lighter version of this and use it down here. It's actually probably a little too blue, but we'll be covering most of this with other colors, but there's kind of a light area. And there's a couple of ways that I could do these feathers. Normally when I do bird feathers with spots in particular, I'll do the dark and then I'll add the light. But in this case, the feather shapes, or the white part, is not a shape that I can easily make with a brush. It's like a triangular shape. You know, the shape is kind of like, the white part is like that. Almost like a triangle with a curved bottom. And, but they're basically like fish scales. So they kind of do this, and then there's one in between, and they're created by, you know, the way they're cutting each other off. So I think it's going to be easier to do this part, the scallop part, than the white parts. So I think I'm going to do the black over the white instead. So we can try it a couple different ways and see, but I'm thinking when I was looking at this that's how I might try to tackle, especially these breast feather. There's a lot of them, and I definitely don't want to have to try to paint that shape over and over again. So it'll be much easier to paint the little lines in a scallop pattern than to paint all the little white bits. So let's get our unbleached titanium, and there's a little bit of like a burnt sienna tone to them. There's a little bit of white maybe too, just to lighten them up. I'm going to go ahead and go over this whole area here and then just kind of blend it into this blue that I just did. It comes down pretty far. I'm going to get a little bit of that blue, do it on this side. Kind of goes darker a little bit on the edge. And you can see that background color through it still, so I want to get a little bit more white here and just try to cover that up. I don't mind having a little bit of it showing, but maybe not that much. Okay. And then it kind of tucks under, so it kind of makes this almost bracket, you know, shape right there. It's kind of poking up right here and then comes back down, wraps around right here and here. Okay. Then there's some of this lighter color under here. I'm going to go over this blue with this and just kind of make the tapping motion so that it kind of softens that all off. Because it's kind of just shaded. I probably could have just done this color all over and then glazed this, the blue. And I might still, you know, depending on how we progress here. So I need to keep this color wet though, because I don't want to have to remix it. So make enough that you have enough to last. How's everybody doing? I've just jumped right in and painted. Didn't even really say hi.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good? Good.
Oh, you want everybody else did there? They're doing well too.
They're good. 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 Regular crew here tonight.
We got the unusual suspects.
Nice. Glad to have you guys joining us. It'd be a little bit weird if it was just Mark and I sitting here talking to each other. This way.
We just go to the couch then. Just do that.
Exactly. I'm going to get some black. I'll do the face markings with black. I kind of tap underneath the neck there, and I'm going to leave just the tiniest little bit of white there. I'll come back in and add more white to it. It kind of comes up like that and wraps around right there. Okay. There's a dark line above the eye. And then the top of the head, maybe a little bit more brown.
So this looks like a California quail.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what those feathers are called? On his head sticking out?
No.
On a top knot.
A top knot? Oh, that's cute. Man bun. The original man bun. Right here. Cute. I'm using the edge of my brush here, and I'm just gonna kind of do the little, they're just slightly fuzzy. Cute. He's so adorable. Love it. Yes, we saw these many times growing up. I grew up in California. They had these in the desert. I'd come across them from time to time, running around. I walked into school and stuff through the desert. Not a lie. It really happened. There was a big old lot between me and my junior high, so I could walk through this desert, or I could go 3 blocks around, you know. It was like 2 blocks toward, you know, through the, it was like really literally 1 block to my house through the desert, or from the back of the school to, or I could go all the way around. So when I was feeling brave, I would go through the desert.
Brave the rattlesnakes and
Yeah.
cactus.
Yeah. Who knows what. All right. This was Palm Springs, so it wasn't that bad, but there were animals. This is before all the casinos and things went in. It's a lot different now.
Palm Springs in the 70s
Yes.
and 80s.
80s,
early
yeah.
80s.
Yeah, early 80s, and yeah. All right, getting the ultramarine, or the burnt umber with the little bit of the unbleached titanium, just a little bit. I just want it to cover. And I'm going to, let's use this back here. So kind of already have the brown started up here, but go ahead and kind of finish that off. And then I'm going to kind of use it to tap in right here around the face, over the eye area, and the beak. I'm just going a little bit lighter than what that black was. And then let's use this on the back of the wings here. Yeah, I really like to, I had somebody asking me for, for information on how to paint a turtle dove, and I had already been thinking about doing more birds, because when I did my sale of my canvases, I'm like, for as much as I like painting birds, I didn't have very many bird paintings for sale. It's like there's a kind of shocking lack of bird. Like, I have this weird thing where I like feel a little bit guilty about painting the things I like to paint. It's so weird. I don't know why, but it's like I have these things I like to paint, like flowers, and flowers I indulge more than birds, but flowers and butterflies and things. And I have to limit myself, because it's like that's all I want to paint sometimes, you know. So it's like all right, nobody wants to see another bird this month, you know. So then I don't paint it, and then it goes like 3 more months, and I still haven't painted one. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do birds. So I was in a bird mood. So that's the new bird series.
So you're going to do 2 turtle doves during the holidays?
Oh, that'd be fun. Do a partridge. That would actually be French hens. That would actually be pretty kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I want to do the whole thing, though. I mean, if I do part of it, I probably feel like I have to do all of them. Well, I don't know.
Well, no, just the bird parts.
Just the birds? Okay. Well, but anyhow, somebody was, this is a long story to say, somebody was asking me about how to paint a turtle dove, and I was like, I might paint one, you know? We might do that. Not a turtle dove. Yeah, turtle. More like a mourning dove, you know, like the kind that we get in our yard. Mm. Yeah.
Like the god pigeon size we got out there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That was a special kind. It had like a white head, and it was really pretty.
The white ring.
White ring, yeah. Yeah, Mark calls it the god pigeon, because it kind of bullies the rest of them. It's pretty funny. All right, so I'm just basically adding all of my neutral browns and a little bit. So I've just kind of made a darker, it's a little bit more reddish version of the brown than I had on the wings. And I'm going to use it on the breast right here, and I'm going to try to kind of go softly where it comes up to that white part so I don't overwhelm it too much. And you can see that I'm like looking at my picture, and as I'm painting these, I'm going in the direction of the feathers. So these feathers are all kind of coming down this way and out slightly. The ones here are pretty smooth, but these ones are coming this way. Remember I said, you know, it's important to know that line because these ones kind of come out and angle this way, and then they go straight, and then they start angling this way. So they all kind of angle up towards the head. And so if you know where the center is, you kind of know where to make that vertical line through the middle with your feathers. And then same thing here, we're kind of going to angle back this way. These ones are angling kind of along that line, straight, and then these ones are angling back this way and out. Okay. And let's just go ahead and put in the tail. I feel like I want the, I love this detail in this. I almost wonder if I could move that this way and put out, now that I've already painted it in, but put the, you know what I'm saying? I can't use my
It's
words.
a branch?
You put, yes, thank you, the branch.
Yes.
That's the word.
So how many points do I win?
All the points.
Thank
You
you.
get all the points.
Thank you.
So this would go down
This
here
wood
that
thing.
way. What? The
This
wood
wood
thingy.
thing.
Yep, the wood thingy. And then this would come up. So we could still keep what we've done here. We just have to paint this in with. I think that's going to be better, a better composition. So I'm going to move the branch off of the tail so I can see the whole tail, even though I can't see what it looks like. Can you look up one? And I just want to see what the end of the tail looks like in a picture, just so I don't do it too short. Thank you. Yeah, so we'll do that. Let's go ahead and get some of this green that we had before, and I'm going to go ahead and add some unbleached titanium to it, just so I have more coverage. And we'll just fill that in a little bit. And the key to adding a new color is just to put it other places. So I've got this new color. It's not exactly the same as anything else around it. I'm having to do it because I need to cover that branch, you know.
Just feather pattern just continues down on it.
Oh, that's a pretty color. Okay, but that one's spread out. Can you find one that's not spread out? I just kind of want it to be long.
Of course.
No, I mean,
No,
you
I
had
know.
it. I just
I'm okay.
getting some white here and adding it to the.
It's just pretty dark.
Okay. Okay, just kind of. All right.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Just like a very little hint of
Well, I just wanted to know if it was rounded or if it was straight, if it was pointy. So it's a little bit pointy.
It's a little uneven.
Yeah.
It's more squared off in this picture here, like the backside.
Okay. Check. Good. Thank you. So just kind of taking it and doing like that. All right. Yeah, that'll be good.
My
Let's
newsfeed
go
is
ahead.
going to be so awesome tomorrow.
What?
My newsfeed is going to be so awesome tomorrow.
Like, he likes quails.
Man. Hey,
Gonna show them all the birds now.
when we're in Bordeaux, I'll take you to the pizza place that puts the quail egg in the middle of the pizza.
That what?
That puts the quail egg in the middle of the pizza.
Oh, that's right. That was Mark. Oh, Mark and I, the first time we went to France 20 years ago, literally, we got pizza. Okay, I love French food. Like, it was great. We loved it. It was wonderful. But we were so ready for some, like, Americanized food, like just something familiar after 2 weeks. And so we went to a pizza place and we're like, okay, we'll just get pizza. This will be great. And it came out and had a raw egg that was just splattered. Huh?
A sunny side up egg in the center.
It was not cooked. Yeah, it was basically runny egg in like a little tiny quail egg right in the middle of the pizza.
And it was at that moment I was like, oh, that's what oof means. So it has to be sans oof.
Ah, yeah, on the menu. Yeah.
Without egg.
Mm-hmm. So we're just doing black and unbleached titanium here to do this stick. And I'm going to go ahead and do it nice and dark right here where the kind of center of it is and underside. All right, that works. And then just go a little bit darker underneath everything. I really kind of almost wonder if I should cut it off right there, but I feel like that would be kind of weird, so I may have to I don't know. I wanted to do that vignette thing, but now I'm chickening out here. I feel like it needs to be a little bit higher because I don't want to cut it off right there. It would look kind of weird, I think. So I feel like it probably just has to go off the canvas. But I'm going to go ahead and put some of this green underneath from this green here, which still hasn't covered completely what I had going on right here. So I lost a little bit of my luminosity with the move. You won't have that problem with yours because you'll know what you're doing from the beginning. But you can do like that. I think it'll still work. And I may have wanted it a little bit darker around there anyways, and I'll have some grasses coming up out, so it'll work. Let's go ahead and let that dry really well. And maybe we'll do our tall prairie grasses. Let me zoom out here. I had another picture that had the grass, and I'm gonna find it real quick. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. There we go. Nope.
So while Angela did have this drawn prior to the starting of the video, the traceable will be available over on Patreon.
Yep.
There's a link down in the description if you want to sign up. And she's working on her beginner series.
Yes, I am. It's
That will be starting.
stressing me out. Because we're going on our vacation next week and I still don't have the first one out yet. But yeah, no, I'm working on it and we should have the first one out next Monday. So it's just slow going. It's the first time I've done something like this, so I have an idea of how I want it to be, and I'm trying to get it there. But it'll be good. I'm just trying to get it right, get it. I'm a perfectionist, so I need to stop being like that and just do it. Stop thinking about it so much. Yep. I do that to myself sometimes. All right. I'm gonna I switched to my blender brush. This is a 3/8 inch. I'm just gonna use it to kind of smear on some highlights on that wood with my white and unbleached titanium. I think I might have gotten some of that gray. I don't know. I was talking about other things and I wasn't paying attention. Just pull out some that are kind of in front. There we go. And that's about all I'm going to do with it. I don't think I need to. It's not our focal point, so I don't want to put a lot of detail in it. I think it's good enough.
Yeah, this kind of turning out to be like one of those field note vibes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to go, like Audubon feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
That's
just kind of paint the main subject and then just
right.
general details in the
Yeah.
sides.
That's kind of what I was hoping for. So.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's working.
Hope that isn't one of Stickman's family there that he's standing on.
What?
Hope that's not one of Stickman's family members he's standing on.
All right. I'm going to get my glaze. And so in the picture, the grass is kind of lighter than the background. Like the background's light, but it's even lighter. But I think I might go darker with these just so I can see them. Because I'm feeling like there's some dark elements here and I'm not sure. Well, we can try it. Let's see what happens if we do like the unbleached titanium on top of this green, white and unbleached titanium. And I'm going to get some of this green gold too, just so it has a slight greenish tint. But let's see if we can get any to show up. I've switched to my 2-liner here. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of disappearing, aren't they? So I feel like we're just gonna have to go a little bit darker. I can't remember what this green was. Phthalo green, phthalo blue. It was phthalo blue, burnt sienna, and green gold, and unbleached titanium, I think. But I'm not gonna add as much unbleached titanium or any. Let's see what this does. Yeah, that works. I feel like it's a little bit thin. I mean, the grass has to be thick, but I feel like it doesn't fit the rest of the style, so I'm going to go a little bit thicker with my brush and use the flat edge of a brush here to I'm kind of trying to sort of soften off those edges so that they're not so perfect, because I want to keep that dreamy quality. So kind of did a few lines and then sort of blended back over them while they're still wet. Yeah, I think this is better. And really the key is just to kind of overlap in different directions. Like I think the main direction is going to be like this, but I don't have to have them be all perfect. And with this liner, with this brush, I can kind of do pretty long lines. You just have to keep this angled in the right way, because if you turn it sideways, you start getting thicker grasses. So I have to kind of keep it on its edge. Okay, that's good. Let's go a little bit darker down here, and I'm just gonna kind of dab. Dab in some leaves. Just using the edge of the brush. I'm not worried about the feet right now. My bird, I'll put those in later. So I'm just gonna dab in some little leaves in a little bit darker color. right, we're getting there. I'm trying to just be kind of expressive with my leaf shapes, so I'm not wanting to overdo them too much. But if you get one that, you know, looks a little rogue there, you can kind of touch it up. Yeah, all right. Might do just a little bit more, mix up a little bit more of that color, even darker. And just do a few that are really pointing in, so think about where you want to point the movement, and I want it to kind of come around this way, so I think I'm going to do one like right here that kind of comes in. And that, like I said, they don't have to go all the way to the bottom. I want them to be kind of exploding out from around the legs. All right, and then let's do a few of the little grass heads on these. So I'm going to keep the same brush. It's working pretty well, and get my unbleached titanium and some of that Quinacridone burnt orange. I'm going to use that green with it to tone it down. The green that I just had that had the Phthalo blue and burnt sienna and green gold in it. And we'll just use it to kind of dab it in the little prairie grass bits. I think go a little bit more reddish even. Dabbing with the corner of the brush just down, you know, find one of these tall grasses. There's another one right here, and maybe think about the height of them too, so that you're varying up the height of them. They're not all the same. Okay, and let's do one here, one here. All right, I like it. Feels right to me. I'll add highlights to these, but for now I'll leave them. Leave him be. Let's go ahead and give him some legs so he doesn't look so weird. Again, that burnt umber and black. Just using this to kind of scrub in my legs. That's good. Let me switch to a round brush so that I can get the feet details. I have 4 around here. And right about where it touches the log, it kind of spreads out and thickens up at the ankle. And then there's a little, that whole thumb back there goes behind it. This one wraps around kind of front and then comes down, wraps underneath, and then this one kind of lays along the top edge. And then that nail comes from the top down, so it has this rounded pad right here. A knuckle that comes up there. This knuckle comes up higher. I feel like that looks weird. I think this one got a little separated, or maybe a little bit long. Let's move it this way a little bit. Okay. And this one, the foot is knuckle there, kind of coming up from the ankle, and then another one there, another joint there, and then the nails coming up forward and down from there. Do we need to get closer here? Can I see? Enough. I can see it. Okay.
But then again, I'm not painting, so. But I think it's coming out pretty good, pretty clear.
Okay. This one's coming up and the nail's coming down there, and then this one is kind of can't really see it, but I'm gonna guess that's right there. There's something in front in the picture. All right, and then let's get our white and just kind of go over this with the white. Just dabbing on kind of the upper area where the light's hitting those joints. And kind of go across the, the chicken legs have the bird legs, feet have the kind of lines across. Okay. We'll let that set and then I'll maybe do a little bit more on it, but looks good. Let's go ahead and get the black and do the eye. This will give him the most personality. Make sure this is dry before I just lay my arm on it, like I did. There, I'm gonna kind of leave that dark around it and sort of clean up around it a little bit. And then the beak is kind of a light grayish. But I'm going to go a little bit darker than it needs to be. Okay. Getting the white and adding a little bit of that gray. And I'm going to go over the top of the beak while it's wet, just kind of dab it in a little bit and a little bit where it comes up the face. It's actually kind of a little bit lower than I did there. So it kind of does this little swoop where it kind of comes straight right there. And then it comes in pretty sharply right here. So let me get that black and kind of carve out that shape with the black. So this part dark comes up over the eye, and then there's a little space for that beak, and do that little curve up so it looks like he's grinning. And then that dark kind of continues there. And then there's kind of a V shape right here. And then that beak comes around and up over right there. Okay, let's get some more of that white. The still have that black in my brush. And we'll do the highlight on the eye, which is kind of back in here. Okay. I kind of did a brighter spot right there and then like dabbed it off as I came around the front. You can do it in two parts though. You can do your kind of transparent part first and over the whole eye and then come back in and dab on a brighter highlight. Sometimes I do that if I don't get it right the first time. But I think we got it close, so I'm gonna leave it. So I'm gonna get a little bit of the yellow oxide, a little tiny bit of my green gold, just the slightest bit. I don't want it to be super green. And then my unbleached titanium. More of the unbleached. Let's get the Titan Puff because I want it thin. And roll that. I did not clean my brush out, so it might have had a tiny bit of black still in it too, which is fine. Just want it kind of a light yellow with a slight green cast, which that black will make the yellow, the unbleached titanium more green, because it has, the black has a little bit of the undertone of blue. Okay, coming up this way, I'm going to just do these little tiny feathers that are around the face here. This is not going on dark enough, so I need to add some white, or bright enough, or more opaque enough, I should say. I'm going to add some white here and get that. There we go. Little tiny feathers coming up in like a fan up and around the front of the face there. Okay, and there's just the tiniest little bit even on this, I think. Just get a little bit of highlight there on that. And then I still need to highlight that beak as soon as it's dry, but I'm going to leave it for now. Let's get a little bit of the burnt umber and use this same color with the burnt umber. And we'll highlight the top of the head. I'm just going to come around here, and I kind of want a little bit of the dark too, so I'm going to make sure it's opaque enough that I can kind of go over that edge and add some highlights there, just around the top of the head, coming down. And they're kind of angling down this way, so I need to watch my angle. I was getting my angle off. I need to kind of do that Elvis up over pompadour look, coming up over and then back. The thing with quails is they scare the bejeebers out of you if you come across them, because they hide so well. And then you'll just be walking along and all of a sudden they'll go out of the grass and scare the snot out of you. I just remembered that childhood trauma caused by quails. They're adorable. If you if you catch them walking around, they look like little. They walk so cute. But yeah, but if they're hiding and you kind of scare them out, watch out, because you're in for a heart attack.
Sorry if you're wearing headphones there.
Why? What'd I do?
No, your imitation of the quail was very
loud,
startling.
Sorry.
Hey, no, it felt like I was there.
I kind of warned them.
I felt like I was in the
They
desert.
knew what was coming.
I was in the desert with you. It's hot. Not paying attention,
I want to
daydreaming.
get home and have a snack.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, out of
nowhere, just explosion of feathers.
And dust.
Yes. All right, a little bit of white. I'm just using pure white here. Coming down with that. And then let's go right behind the eye here. Tapping. And if you hold the brush in the direction that you want your feathers to be, so like here I'm holding my brush in that direction, and then here I want the feathers to kind of angle back, so I'm going to hold it in that direction so that when I tap I'm going to get those kind of, the point is going to go in the right way. And I already left it a little bit light, so I'm having an easier time of it too. All right, and then I kind of left that background color around the eye and it's working for me, so I'm just going to kind of dab off a little bit, but don't have to do much. And I need to go back in with the black too. Let's dab in here. Dab around. And then I'm going to get the black and dab on the inside of that. It's kind of on both sides of that. And kind of behind. Then back here there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little white dotted, kind of white and bluish. I lost all my blue. No! Forgot to keep it wet. It's dry. Darn it. Well, it was burnt sienna and unbleached titanium and ultramarine and burnt and phthalo blue. So, and then white. I need white. A little bit more blue. Okay, we mixed it. So yeah, this part is kind of bluish. I'm gonna dab on lots of little dots, and then go in with brighter white and do even more. Dab, dab, dab. Tiny, 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 tiny little dabs. And if I do it when that blue is still wet, it kind of softens the look. If I go straight dry, I just tend to not like the look as much. It looks pasted on. So if I kind of can do these little dots on a wet surface, and you kind of just have to, you know, play with it and see, because you don't want the background too wet or it's just going to dissolve the color completely. But if it's just slightly kind of, you know, I mean, it was fairly thick, I should say. You know, that blue that I put on there was fairly thick. And the brown underneath was dry. So it was kind of a brown background. So that's showing through. And then I had the little kind of medium gray blue on top, wet, fairly thick. And then now these lighter white dots that are also fairly thick, but, you know, a little bit thinned out over the top of that. And it's all kind of working to make it kind of just softens it if you do the wet into wet that way. It's kind of got some dry, so when it hits that, when the white hits the brown, it's dry, but when it hits the little blue parts, which I filled in on most of it with the blue, it's gonna dissipate just slightly and soften off and just be a little bit closer to what I want. I don't want it too obvious. Okay, so right here, let's do our little, the same thing. These are kind of, but I've already got the blue here, so I'm just gonna kind of pull them though. They kind of start to make these like little small pointy feathers back here. So just setting my brush down and kind of pulling down a little bit as I'm lifting and dabbing and trying to keep them pretty close together. Okay. And then as they come down here, about halfway down, they're getting larger. So I'm gonna get a little bit of that blue that I just mixed And I've got blue there already, so I'm going to mix that white into that blue. We'll see. I'm just going to set my brush down a little bit harder to get the bigger feathers, and I want them to kind of disappear into the neck or into the back of the, you know, back of the body there. So I think we're good. Let's get some black here. And round out that eye right there. Okay, nice and black. And if you haven't already, make sure you've got nice and dark kind of around it. I'm gonna clean up right there. I kind of touched that white to the eye, and I don't want it to be like that. And then maybe just darken off just a little bit around it, just sort of tapping a little bit of light black there. Okay. Face is the most important, so I'm gonna make sure I get the face looking the way I want it. I'm gonna get a little bit of the burnt sienna and burnt umber. Again, with the round brush, if it's too thick, you can add a little water, but I don't want it too wet. And I'm gonna dab in here, especially at the bottom of where that white is, just right there where it goes down in. Darken that up, get a little bit darker even. And I want to crisp up this little section here so there's a really clear point where this comes out. So I'm gonna make that black headpiece kind of come down a little bit of a triangle right there. And bring that black kind of above the white a little bit. Okay, looks good. Point it there. Good. I'm going to get a little bit of that black. I'm going to kind of flatten my brush out, use that bladed edge, and just slice into that white that I've already done. Create some darker feathers. Okay. Pretty happy with that. Maybe do the same thing here, just kind of slice over the white in places. Soften that off, get a little bit more of the white. Dab in a little bit more of the white. Give it a second coat on some of this up here to really brighten it up. It needs to be brighter. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and work on the rest of the body because we got a lot left to do and we're running out of time. I'm going to get a little bit bigger brush here and do the feathers over here, get the white and the little bit of that buff titanium, and put in my white feather detail. That was too big. Let's try that again. I need to press my brush flatter, so it's way too thick there. There we go, that's closer to what I want. And just stagger these little markings all along and through here, along the back. I think that's pretty close to what I need right there. Might do a little bit more up here and soften off this transition between that blue. Bring that blue down a little bit over that. There. Oop. Get some of that blue. Really should have mixed up a good amount of that Phthalo blue in hindsight. I'm just going to go around the feathers there and try to kind of do a little bit of a transition over the in between those white feathers with some blue feathers. Just in this little strip right there. Okay, that looks good. Get some more of that. Pull down some more highlights on these feathers. It's pretty smooth in the picture, but I just want to give the indication, so I'm just kind of doing these like kind of straight lined feathers, and then there's just one that's kind of overlapping right here a little bit, right where that comes up. Little highlight there. Tap that off a little bit. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the beak highlight, so I'm going to get the white-ish color and just kind of come up on the corner of this brush and just try to get a little highlight there. Okay. And then there's a little bit of a highlight kind of coming up along that area. So I'm going to kind of hold it on its edge and just dab a little bit. There we go. Get a little bit of the white on the very corner and just give them a little sparkle in the eye there. All right. So when we do pigeon one, where we just do it in a city street, is that kind of going to be the theme for that one? You know, these ones are like prairie, desert, and then you have like a pigeon would be like trash, and
you could do the
a
one
soda can
that Spencer took. It's on my.
Oh yeah, now that would be a kind of cool one. Yeah, we got my son when we went to New York City. We got he took a photo at the top of the, I think it was at the top of the Empire State Building or one of those, of a pigeon overlooking the city. It was pretty cool. The city's kind of blurry in the background. Yeah, that would actually be kind of a fun one. Honestly, I mean, I was joking, but it would be kind of funny.
It's a lot more city than it is because bird's just in the corner there. But
yeah, but I mean, you know, I kind of wanted we've been doing songbirds, and I wanted the underrepresented birds, you know, the quail.
the marginalized.
Exactly. Going for the marginalized population here. Giving them a voice. So I'm trying to kind of darken that up without getting too fussy, but I'm kind of seeing that through. Okie doke. Oy. All right, let's do this part, and then we'll do the mess here. This is going to be fun. Not getting the darker. I'm going to kind of come through here with that darker blue. put some stripes through the tail in the dark. And then the breast, I'm going to use that blue still and just add some of that to my burnt orange color. And I'm going to kind of just go across here and leave little bits showing. But this part is pretty solid, but I do want a little bit of pattern here, so I'm going to kind of create a pattern just by kind of dabbing across in a circular half semicircles, little, just the same way I'm going to do the pattern up here. Swooping it up and not being too careful to, you know, get them perfectly lined up, but, you know, as close as I can. Just giving it the essence of.
Your biggest fan has joined us.
Noah, you feeling better? How you doing? My granddaughter just joined us. Sorry, gonna have to go into Gigi mode for a second.
Gigi mode activated.
Engage Gigi mode. Hello, Noah. Grandbabies are the best. I'm telling you. The best.
Yeah, we were talking about that, you know, because we did a video chat the other night, and you know, talking to her and then Nathan, and then
She started getting fussy.
Sort of melted down, like, well, we're gonna go, bye. And then I looked at Angela. I was like, that's the best part about a grandparent. You don't have to deal with that. Can
Poor
imagine
Nathan.
what Nathan was going through.
We've already been there, done that.
Yeah, we know what he was going through. Just glad it wasn't us.
Yep. You're like, oh, man, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're going to bed now. Sorry. Nathan's like, not funny. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm going to do one little feather kind of coming down here that poking through. And just using that black and...
You need to do that iconic picture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So maybe a turtle dove in, you know, whatever setting, and then maybe a pigeon, maybe a partridge. I know Mona took a picture of a partridge, I think, a while back, one of our mods, Mona, long time mod. She lives in Sweden. Shout out to Mona. Getting burnt umber, yellow oxide, and my Titan buff here. I'm going to kind of just add some streaks into the tail. Just a little bit, and then add some of this color, which is mixing kind of with the black that I just put on there. That's okay. I don't want it as bright as the white areas, so it's fine if it's kind of mixing with the black a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. And then I need to spray this and scrape it off so I have room to work here, because I'm going to have to thin out my paint to get these lines. And I think I'm going to do them, I've kind of been liking using this brush. I might continue, we'll see. I'm not sure I can get them thin enough. But we'll try it on a few and then we'll see how we like it. This is a glass scraper, just a regular old glass scraper. I get questioned about it every time I pull it out.
Some people have suggested maybe a turkey.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I would like that.
The holidays are full of birds.
They are. I did a quail. The only other time I've painted a quail that I can think of was when I did those Christmas ornaments a couple of years ago on the wood slices. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed it. That was fun. So glad we're getting to do the full bird here. It's definitely a little bit on the advanced side just, you know, these ones are definitely more realistic leaning and a little bit more advanced, but I think hopefully I try to make these lessons so that you can follow along and do it yourself. I think they're doable. Hope you guys try it. All right, getting that unbleached titanium and a little bit of that burnt orange, and I'm going to add a little bit of the green gold to it just to brighten it up. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so just like a light salmon pink. I'm not going to end up using my magenta at all. Probably. We'll see. I might need a little bit lighter. Okay. Can't see that. So I need it a lot lighter. Okay, and then I think I need to go a little bit darker with it at the same time, so maybe I will get my magenta out and my burnt sienna, burnt umber, burnt orange kind of mixture and do it darker. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that green just to tone it kind of more grassy. Do a little bit of that. Still not quite right. Let me get a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, that's better. Realizing it's just not quite dark enough. When I added the highlights, it made it pretty obvious that it was not dark enough because they disappeared. You kind of have to have that dark in order to see the light parts. Gotta have that contrast. Okay, and then like this one doesn't have a stem, so I'm going to give it a stem. Phthalo blue, green gold, and burnt sienna. Okay. Add a little bit of the green to make sure that these all have stem all the way up. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the black in my glaze. I'm just going to kind of go on these legs and tint over that white that the highlights, and put a little bit on the log where the legs are, a little shadow under the feet, so it doesn't look like he's pasted on. There, and then a little bit more dark at the very bottom, just kind of streak it on in some lines. There, okay. All right, let's mix up. I'm gonna mix up some blue. Let me get that phthalo blue, a little bit of the ultramarine. And I really think it's more phthalo though. Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine, and then the Burnt Sienna. And it had a little bit of burnt orange in it too. Do this at the beginning and do a lot of this color. So that first blue that I did, and just keep it wet, you know, scrape it up into a smaller little spot. I mixed it flat and that it just dried out so fast. You know, there was no way it was lasting this long. So, but if you mix it up in a little smaller area like this, it'll stay. You can keep it, you know, spraying it, keep it wet. All right, got some unbleached titanium there. Okay, so that's with the unbleached titanium. It's looking kind of green, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that phthalo blue. I don't have to match it exactly, but I just want to get it close enough to this dark color as I can. Just help that transition to look right. Alright. Let's take a little bit of it and add some white this time. Let's see what we got. Okay, so it's not gray enough. So let's add a little bit of, burnt umber. That'll gray it out without turning it more green. Okay, that's a little bit better. Maybe a little bit more of ultramarine blue. Okay. Yeah, I think we're close-ish. So I'll add a little bit of there, and if we use it down below, it won't look like it's out of place. And I've seen other pictures of these quail, and they have, you know, kind of browns and stuff. So this picture is definitely a little bit more like saturated, I think, but I like it, so we're gonna go with it. But you could go with just browns if you wanted to instead of this bluish color. So I'm gonna use this dark blue, and then I do need the brown, this color here. So I think that was the burnt umber and burnt sienna with, or burnt orange and burnt sienna with burnt umber. Maybe, and I think I had a little black in it too, a little tiny bit of black. Yeah, okay. So this will be kind of a lightish brown that we can use, and I'll mix up a darker version of it for my really dark areas. It's just got black and burnt umber with burnt sienna. Okay. Really, I could have probably mixed this color with this color, which would have gotten me a black too. So ultramarine blue and burnt umber. In fact, let's do that. Let's do some ultramarine blue and burnt umber over here, just because I like that color, and my burnt umber is kind of dried there. But we can use this as well. It'll look good because we've got it in both versions here. So having the, need to get that. I got a chunk of dried paint on there. my burnt sienna. Okay, looks good. So this color will kind of bridge these two because it's got both colors in both. All right, here we go. So I said I was going to use this brush, but I think I am going to use the round. We'll see. We'll just get to going here and see what we think. And I still want to put highlights on that too, from that, so I don't want that to dry out, but I want to get the bird going. I don't want to spend any more time messing around. So let's do the blue over here. So these ones kind of already started it, but there's just these kind of dark blue that come there, and I'm just going to do them in between. Kind of like that. Maybe get some black and go back over and connect some of these up. I'm kind of deliberately messing them up so that they don't look too perfect, because if they look super perfect, they're gonna not look real. So I want to kind of have some uneven overlapping and things. And I think the angle's a little bit off too. So there's one right here. So every time you have a point up, you're going to do another swoop in between there. Yeah, I think this works. I think this works. So let me get that ultramarine blue. I'm going to get that really dark brown here. Use that with it too. What you doing over there? He's not listening to me. He's got his headphones in. What's going on? What you doing? Uh-oh. Oh, is she watching? Is that a video of her watching? She getting her art supplies out? Painting along?
She's saying hi Gigi and peep up.
Oh. Cute. Hi, Noah.
Trying to catch to see where you say hi. Now you're distracted.
Yeah, I know. I'm distracted. I want to see the video. Right here where they're kind of overlapping, I'm going to use some of this color on this brown part to kind of transition over between the colors. So, and if I go over some of these white ones that I've already done, I can put them back in later. So I'd rather get these kind of situated the way they need to be. What?
You'll have to watch after.
Okay.
I don't think you'll be able to finish painting.
Oh, why? Okay.
She starts kind of dancing.
Oh, goodness. Cute. Right. Yeah. I think this is working.
It's working.
It's working. I think the key is to kind of keep it a little bit messy or a little bit imperfect. Like the feathers, especially in this area, not like lining up perfectly, you know, so just kind of making sure I'm leaving them a little bit rough in places. And I'm kind of on a time crunch, so if I was, if I had all the time in the world, I would probably, really like study the picture and get it perfect. But I'm gonna just move forward and hope for the best. So it's not gonna be exact to the photo, but it'll be close. And again, just kind of when to meet. You can have another one underneath. So. And I think it's helping to kind of have a little bit of both these brown and blue. So some of them kind of come back over and come up underneath with the brown. And you can also kind of take some of the light color here and dab off over in the white areas that we have and kind of soften off the edge of some of that. Give it a little bit harder edge, a little bit more definition, a little different color, maybe a little more light at the very top where it's, overlapping, because this is the white feather, I think, overlapping, or they may actually have this color on the edges. I'm not really sure if it's how it is. It looks like, it looks like the edges are colored. So just kind of messing them up a little bit. Looks good. Let's go ahead and do over here. Now over here, they're kind of coming in at a different angle. They're coming down this way. The swoops they're swooping this way. So swoop your swoops this way. And then once they kind of do an arc here. So these ones coming across, gonna do this, and then they kind of come up like that. These all in between, gonna do this.
Somebody said earlier that when they do this, they would maybe use an acrylic pen or something. Right?
Yeah, you could.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Definitely a complex angle that you're doing there,
I
because
think
it's moving in two directions.
Yeah, I think that doing them light like this at first is helpful, and you could probably even leave it like this, like you didn't have to do the real full-on harder version. But you could draw with chalk lines too to help you kind of get a center line on there. Might help. They get a little closer together too as they come up towards the top too. They're not as spaced as far apart. Okay, I think we're got it good, and then now I can kind of come back in and make them a little bit more prominent. My brush is kind of dry, so I'm going to get some more water here. And this middle area is actually kind of brownish, so let me get the brown color for the middle part here. Yep, it's working. Okay. I think we're going to do it in time. Getting close to our 2 hours. Yeah, I think I kind of made them a little too rounded. Now I'm seeing, like, I think they're a little flatter. So let me see. I'm not sure if I can get that off or not. No, I can't. I think I would. What would I need to do there? Maybe spray some out a little bit more than I did in order to get that angle flatter. Not quite as rounded. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, I don't love the breast. I don't like how I did it. So so let's do the other way that we talked about. We'll just see. I don't like that, so I didn't mind it here, but I didn't get the right angle in the breast. I think it would have worked if I'd done the right angle, but just didn't like it. So we'll do it this way. We'll use the white in this brush here, and I'll try to get a brush stroke that I can do that mimics that shape. It's really ideally wait for it to dry. But I need that point at the top is the thing, so I need to get my brush at this angle so that the top corner of it is pointing up, so I can get up into that recessed area. Okay. I don't know. I don't like this any better. It's kind of messy. It doesn't really match what I did over here, does it? So I kind of have to mess these up now to match it. Okay, but that's better, at least. At least better than was with the white. I just did it too close together. I'm going to use this light blue and kind of do some right on the edges here. And some coming up and overlapping right there. And some coming out there. Right. So I could come back in and clean this up later if I wanted to, but yeah, I don't love it. No, that's not it. I kind of lost the swooping lines. see how far back we can get it. Sometimes you can get it all off if it's still fresh underneath. I'm just gonna have to let that set and dry for a second. We'll get another shot. I spoke too soon. Okay, we finished on time. Famous last words. So let's go ahead and put our highlights on our grass here.
So we've said
And
this.
the magenta and the unbleached titanium. What?
Well, we've said this before, and you say it
Some white too.
at the beginning of every video that you haven't painted this ahead of time.
Right.
And this is one of the things that I think is most valuable for people who watch you learn to paint, is that they see how you deal with challenges like this.
Right. Yeah, and I mean the nice thing, one of the things that I like about painting on my Thursday classes that I do with my patrons is that we tackle really complex problems, things that take us hours and hours, complex paintings, I should say, not problems. Sometimes they feel like problems, but we have days where we can come back to it. I can look at it for a couple hours or a full week, we do it once a week, so I have all week to look at the painting and figure out what it is to do the next time we meet. And that is a more natural way of painting. Sitting down and figuring out a painting like this in one setting is much more unnatural. Like, this is not something I would recommend trying. And especially if you're, I did something there. I don't know what I did. I think so. I think I got something on my sleeve and it got all over here. Yeah, it's dried. It's from a while ago. I don't know when I did that. What was I saying? Oh, just that, it's not normally I wouldn't do a painting this way, I do it all the time now, but before I did YouTube, I hardly ever did a painting where I would sit down and paint it in one go and say, yep, that's perfect. That's exactly how I want it forever, and it's just not realistic. So, having problems, having things that you come across that you don't know how to resolve right away is a completely normal and really almost, I'd say, essential part of the creative process, because it kind of creates better art if you've got, problems that you're figuring out and solving over time rather than just, getting it all right the first time. You don't really learn anything that way. I know I learn a lot more when I'm, gardening. The first time we do something, sometimes we've had this phenomenon happen multiple times where the first time we plant something, we just get a bumper crop. We're like, we are the best gardeners. We know exactly how to do this. And then we go to do it again and we can't replicate it. And so that's kind of the same with art. It's like, if there's no challenges, which, that's not realistic anyways. Everybody's got, you've always got challenges. But I'm just saying, the challenges help you learn. You learn more from your mistakes and from your challenges, than anything. And so I would say, with this, for me, if I was to do this again, I would definitely do it the way I did the first time, I think, because I liked it better, but just make sure that I leave more space in my swoops, And I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to put the swoops in where I want them to be, and then not try to sketch it in, because I didn't sketch them correctly. I think I could see it better when I was doing it here, when I was doing the bigger, fully swooped out swoops, whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically, So here I'm just going to kind of go slower and do them from the bottom up and try to do that curve that I'm seeing and look at my white spaces. That's what I wasn't doing when I did them before. I was not looking at my white spaces when I was drawing it, and so I was getting shapes out of that white space that was not what I wanted. Okay, so here we go. We'll get it. Third time's the charm. Much more low
No rush.
swoops. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
No pressure.
I want it to be right, so I'm gonna take my time here.
These are awesome.
Thanks. I'm using this brush too. I'm just using the corner of it. I could use an angle brush too, but I'm just gonna use this because I already got it dirty, and it's kind of giving me the right vibes, you know. It's kind of fitting the rest of it. I've done a lot of the other feathers with it, so but you know, if you want a round brush, get a round brush or an angle brush or whatever works best for you. Yeah, I guess that's where that was. Okay. And the thing with this is that we'll just, you know, anywhere where I've got any of that initial layer showing, I'll just dab in with some white, which I was going to do anyway, so it's fine. It's not going to hurt anything to have it there. Kind of lost my way right in here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Just put an extra feather in right there. Well, that's where that split is anyway, so there it just kind of get disrupted right there. Where they kind of come in from different directions. Okay, look at my white space. Don't try to go fast, because that's what I was doing before. That I was trying to finish it fast, and it's never good. All right, much better. Much better. I like that a lot better. Okay. All right. We got it there eventually. Get my white and my unbleached titanium. And I'm gonna just dab in these white spaces here and go over just any of the dark that I'm seeing from the other layers. I'm dry brushing here to kind of do the transition feathers. And then onto the blue. And same thing down here. There's some like kind of transition, so I'm just gonna kind of dry brush so that a little bit of that original color is peeking through. Okay. All right, I think this transition between these two colors needs some work. We get some of that blue and kind of go over some of these with the blue. Just make sure that that kind of makes more sense right there. Yeah, I kind of scrunched them up right here. This transition's not great, but I'm not going to redo it a fourth time. It's just going to have to be what it is. I think I got off on my swoops. They're kind of not meeting up quite right here, but it's close enough.
He's had a rough day at the office.
Yeah, his feathers are a little ruffled. Okay, getting a little bit more white. And back here I'm going to go and do highlights on these with some white. These are pretty bright. Just going over kind of the top of the highlighted areas. Bring those up just a little bit. There. I'm going to do another feather kind of coming up right there. Really emphasize that breast coming up right there. And okay. It's a little bit messy for my taste, but I'm just gonna have to call it good because otherwise I'd be here another hour kind of fixing it. So not my best work, but we got it there. Close enough. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to don't you guys go doing this perfect and then share it with me because I'll be mad.
Okay,
I'll be like, what the heck?
we're not posting any
You guys
of
aren't
these
supposed to
pictures.
be better than mine, so just warning you. No. I do think that sometimes though. I'm like, dang it. Y'all nailed it.
Well, then you're doing your job.
Exactly.
You're doing your job well.
Well, there's some people that are painting along that have been painting along for several years now that probably don't need me anymore. They're pretty darn good on their own anymore. And you know who you are, I'm sure.
Which is why we're here, is to help people
100%.
grow and
Oh, it's so neat
do that?
seeing.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that part of the yeah, I'm totally teasing. Please do share your paintings with me. I'm like, I'm totally being silly because I love it. It's one of my favorite things is that you guys actually are painting along. I love getting to do this and share this with you guys and see that you're, inspired and enjoying painting too. It really makes my job so much fun. All right, I'm going to get some of this brown. I'm just going to add a few little dabs of it up in here on the back, kind of in between the white bits, and maybe a little bit more on the head here. And I added my highlights on there. One last thing I want to do for sure is speckle it. I'll use my toothbrush, I guess. And I'm going to use some of this blue since I have so much of it. Blue. You always want to water it down to like a milky consistency, but then you have to add the glazing medium so that it sticks, because it won't stick if you don't do. I do need to put on a glove, though. I don't want to get it all up under my fingernail. I've learned the hard way. It takes you days to get it out. And I wanted to touch that up, but I'm not sure I'm going to do it right now. All right, I'm going to kind of mostly let's just splatter right there. We fixed it. Look at that. We just did a big old splatter right there. Let's do some more. No, I mean, it looks like we meant to do that. I'm going to get it off the tail, though. I don't want that much on the tail. But yeah, so now that is not as noticeable. I'm going to do it kind of at an angle slightly. Be careful not to get my monitor. I literally was typing earlier today. I was laughing because I was telling Mark. I was typing a word. I was wheel. And it kept kept saying spelling Willie, and I was like, I'm not typing Waili, and I must have retyped it 6 times before I realized there was a dab of black right on that L, that second L, that was making it look like it was Willie. So funny. I was like,
That splatter on the monitor.
Splatter on the monitor. Yeah, I know that's not the only place I've done it, but it took me a minute to figure it out. Okay, just using the wet paper towel or wet cloth here to kind of dab off any that got on my quail or anywhere where I don't want it. I don't mind it on my logs so much or my flowers, but and you can do even more, if you really want it splattery. I mean, I think it'd be cool to, even like have it like really fling it, but I don't have the space for that. I don't want to get too crazy with it because I could end up, maybe angle it this way though. Okay. Yeah, just get a little bit thicker cluster of it in some places, and then just make sure you have your paper towel ready that's wet to kind of wipe off any boo-boos. Obviously make sure your bird is dry before you do this so you don't wipe your bird half off when you take off your splatters. But there we go. I like this style. I think it turned out good. I mean, the feathers don't look too close, but I think overall it works. It's again not my favorite in the feather department right in this area, just kind of whatever. But yeah, I think it works overall, and I think his face is adorable. Like, love it. Love it. Got a beautiful little gleam in his eye. Super cute. Super cute. Got a lot of personality. Can't wait to see you guys's. Please do better on the feathers than I did. Take your time. I'll have the traceable. I will use the original picture and not my painting to do the traceables. So you'll have the actual lines to be able to trace on and get correct. So I'm sure your guys' will be a lot more straight than mine. But yeah, let me sign it and we'll call it good for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really glad to have you, our audience, y'all, many of you been watching us for many, many years. If you're new, we're so glad to have you join our Thankful Art family. We've been doing live streams since 2015, I think. Something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's been a while, almost 10 years of live streaming. So I'm darkening up under the feet there. I noticed I could use it. And I think I'm going to sign it kind of close to this log here. Maybe make it part of it. There we go. But yeah, we're going to be trying something new next week. So I hope you'll join me for this. I think it's going to be a fun little adventure into watercolor, and we'll be showing you, we're going on a 3-week vacation working trip.
Some of us 3 weeks, some of us 2 weeks.
Yeah, Mark's got to work for the 3rd week. I'm going to work the whole time.
True. Okay.
But we, we'll be having fun too. It'll be a working
yes.
fun vacation to England and France for the 2nd week, or the 3rd week, I should say. It's 2 weeks in England, 1 week in France, and taking lots of photos and lots of video of our travel. And since we're traveling very light, we've been able to fit everything into 2 to carry on only. So I don't know how we're doing it, but we're gonna do it.
My hat's off to you.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. I'm not a light packer. My friends joke about that. I'm not. I'm a planner, so I'm plan for every eventuality, and I want outfits for every option that I need or might not need or whatever, you know. So yeah, getting it down to 5 outfits. It's painful.
And we do laundry.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing laundry on our vacation. But anyhow, so all that to say, I'm gonna be next week showing you my kit that I'm gonna be bringing on the road, and also doing a little, you know, watercolor practice, just kind of showing you, sort of trying out my paints and seeing how they do. I'm looking at his body now. I kind of wish I'd brought him out a little bit more square right there, but you know, too little, too late. We'll get the painting right on the reference, the traceable. So, all right, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.